In this video, I'm going to show you how to split test your emails. So let's just go ahead and create a new single message. So I'm going to come here to my single messages on the top left-hand side, and let's go ahead and create a new message. So I'm going to click add message, and let's call this message 2. And it's going out to everyone. And now for my split test settings, I'm going to enable it. All right, then we get given a bunch of new information here. So the first thing we have is our sample size. And now this is the percentage of our list that we would like to split test. So we're not going to split test, send 50-50 to the entire list. What we're going to do is choose how many of our users we want to split test on. So if I say that I want to split test it on 50% of my audience, then half of my audience is going to receive email A and email B, and then half of my audience is going to receive the successful email, the more successful email, should I say. But let's just go ahead and say that we're going to test it on 20% of our audience. It's then going to ask what the evaluation period is. So this is how long we are going to test the email for. So currently it's set to 2 hours, but we can make that as long or as short as we want. So if we leave it to 2 hours, it's going to send out our message to 20% of our audience, and then it's going to wait 2 hours. It is going to see how each email does, and whichever email is more successful, it is then going to, after the 2-hour waiting period, send the more successful email to the remaining users in the list. So that is what the evaluation period is going to do. Then we have our criterion, and in this case, we're going to make it the open rate, and then we're going to go ahead and hit save. So now we've got message 1 here. We're going to add our split test. So let's go ahead and edit this message, and we'll say that we'll apply this template to this message. Let's go ahead and say that this is from Heather. And then we can add our subject name. So we're just going to call this message 2.2. But I haven't edited message 1 yet, so I'm just going to save those changes. And it's automatically taken me to message 1 being like, hey, you haven't done anything here in message 1. So yep, I'm going to go ahead and put in my information for this one. Now, what's interesting when you split test an email is that you can go ahead and change the from name and from email and the subject as well. So you can change all of this information because perhaps your users are more likely to open a message. Say you send emails out from 2 different emails and you want to test which of those email addresses is actually more reliable, which one your audience trusts more. You can go ahead and test that here. All right, and then I'm going to say message to 2.1, and we'll add this template to this email. All right, so now I can come back to my split test settings here. I can add as many versions as I want. I'm not going to, but I'm just going to add these 2 versions. And then we're going to navigate over to our recipients. We can just click next. Oops, I clicked back. Next and next. Or we can just click on recipients up at the top. Again, you'll choose who you want this message to go out to. We're going to hit next. We can then schedule our message, or we can send it now. I'm going to send it now, and then we can go ahead and confirm our message. Now, remember, we have that 2-hour waiting period, so it's going to send the message to 20% of my audience. I only have 1 person, but it will send it to 20% of my audience. After 2 hours, it will send the winning message to the remaining audience. All right, I'm going to hit continue. And you'll see that it now says that it is learning. So that means that, again, it's being sent out to 20%. And in 2 hours' time, it will have learned which of those emails is the winning email, and we'll send that one to the rest of the audience. All right, I've repeated that quite a bit. Now, you can split test all the emails throughout the system, but if we come to our sequences, for example, and let's click into our active sequence and just pause and update it, we can create split tests in our sequences as well. So if I want to split test this first message, for example, I'm going to click on the 3 dots over here, and I'm going to say split test. I can then click into this version of the email, and I can edit it however I need to. So let's just add a little bit of difference here and do that, and then hit save. So now we've got that split test. You can see the stats here for each of those and monitor which email is performing better. Once you've decided on which of these emails is the best performing version, you can go ahead and declare a winner by clicking on those three dots again and declaring a winner. You can, of course, further customize this split test. So if I click into my split test and I come here to the settings, you'll see that I've got my split test enabled, and then I've got an experiment end date. So because this is a sequence of emails, it's going to be running for a period of time. So let's say you have an evergreen funnel, someone opts into that funnel and they get added to this sequence. Now, because that funnel is evergreen, it's constantly running in the background of your business, this sequence is then going to need a period of time to test the split test on, well, to run that split test on. So you can have your experiment end date. You can say, well, I'm going to run this split test for a week. And then after that week, the system will then choose the winning email and send that out to anyone else who enters into this email sequence. Again, you can choose your criteria. So here we have the click or open rate. Perhaps the click option is more valuable in this case, so we can choose the click option. All right, so that is how you can create split tests within your sequences as well. So it's a little bit different, but pretty much the same. And once you've made all those changes, you can, of course, go and confirm and reactivate this sequence. And when I come back to my sequence here, that split test is then going to be running. And when we've reached the end date for this split test, the system will automatically choose the winning version of the message. All right, so that is how you can set up split tests for your messages in the system. In the next video, I'm going to go into more detail about filters and filtering your messages so that you can laser target segments of your audience. I'll see you there.